You don't need a crystal ball to see this isn't your everyday family.
I am Lala Inuti Ahari, the mother of 3 very powerful witches.
They've got altars, attitude, and an 8-figure brand. And now they've got a show.
You identify with a religion, or are you more so just spiritual?
Spiritual.
We're doing money work for other people, but you see the way we live in it, we do the work for ourselves too.
The only thing stronger than their magic is their mouths.
I see her and I just feel like this is my time to fuck with her.
There is not a day in hell that I'm gonna let them disrespect me.
From full moons to money moves, this family does it all with divine alignment.
Ancestors, spirit guides, and all benevolent entities to enter into this space.
This is the Conjure family. New series premieres June 30th on Prime Video and Apple TV.
It's lit.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Conjure Confessions, where we tell the unapologetic truth. I am Eria Ahari.
I'm Chaela Bre Ahari.
And I am Lala Inuti Ahari. Welcome back to the Conjure Confessions. Now, I'm sure you've noticed we are missing a co-host and family member on the show. And Tina, as you guys know, some of you anyway know that she just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. So she is on mommy duty today.
I wanted to talk about this movie called Woman in the Yard. Have you guys watched it?
I did.
Yeah.
2 days. No, actually on the plane.
Oh.
I watched it on the plane. And it was hard.
I feel like there's so many different interpretations.
You want my interpretation? Of what part though?
Yeah.
Because what do you think is off about the movie?
I would say the part that confused me the most that I finally got was in the end when she had the gun under her chin. And
okay, trigger alert, you guys.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, so Woman in the Yard, if you haven't seen it, it is, I believe, on Prime.
Yes.
And it is about a mother and her 2 children and how she is coping with
the death of their father.
With some spiritual aspects to it. So we wanted to get into that.
Yeah, so that is also a disclaimer too, as we will be, discussing very sensitive topics in relation to mental health. So we just want to let people know too, this is going to be kind of sensitive.
Thank you, Kayla.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I will say the part that kind of confused me the most was when she was, I guess people would say a deeper part of her subconscious was holding the gun to the woman's under basically her face, her head. Mm-hmm. And she was saying, I don't have all day. And then shortly after she merged into they merged into the same body and right. She walked out the house like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. I was kind of confused by that. Hey, did she do it? Did she not? Did she find the faith the strength to fight for her kids and be there for them?
So in the movie, she asked for strength, right? Mm-hmm. And it's almost like the thing that I always tell you guys, if you ask for something, it doesn't usually just come and happen. Usually you have to go through something to obtain it. So, my race would be like, if you ask God for patience, he's not just going to send you patience. He's going to send you what?
Situations that require patience.
So you will learn patience, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what it kind of reminded me of, is she kept asking for strength, and she had to go through something that was going to give her strength. And I remember in that moment, like you said, the lady was holding the gun, or she was holding the gun to herself, mm-hmm. basically, and the spirit kind of merged back into her body, because really that was just an aspect of herself. Yeah. One thing I want to address is the lady really showed up as her shadow self.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about shadow work in episode 4.
The broken part of her basically showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did. And as you can see, when we were talking about triggers, like sometimes if you don't handle your shadow work, it will haunt you and it will tear down the people even close to you. So her husband, because it showed up in that car when she had that car accident mm-hmm. and killed her husband. She wasn't happy then, right?
Yeah, she wasn't.
Her kids started acting up. Her son started acting strange. The dog, the chicken started dying, and it started bleeding out, right? This energy was starting to kill and disrupt everything else in the house. because she hadn't taken care of that part of herself. What do you think?
Because I actually, there's a verse in my song about basically saying if you don't heal from those who hurt you, you'll bleed on those who didn't cut you. And in the movie, she's not healing from her husband's death. She's running from it. And in the process of running, she is bleeding on everybody.
But see, I think this is about self-transitioning still.
Me
I know
too.
a lot of people may disagree, but I feel like the strength that she was asking for, because she kept looking at the safe, and in the safe we know there was a BB gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the safe was this, weapon. And what the spirit or her subconscious, that the entity of her, or the entity that was with her, which is her, kept saying was, no, like, you don't want the strength to go on. Like, it wasn't strength to go on another day and to fight for your kids. You were fighting, you need the strength to leave here.
Yeah, you were fighting yourself.
You're fighting, yes, exactly. You're like, give me the strength to self-transition.
Yeah, because she was pretty banged up herself, like her leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
She was
she could
exhausted,
barely
she
move
was
around.
tired. Right. She was depressed. And
she was taking it out on her kids.
She was taking out her kids, and her kids were starting to act up. That energy was starting, those shadows, that all that was coming in the house, banging up stuff and affecting the kids. And it was, it was really affecting her family.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar perspective as far
Okay.
as, like, I do think that this was about transitioning as well. In the end, I felt like that was the transition, because
Me too.
before, when she was telling her kid, or she was telling her daughter, and she was trying to tell her the truth, and she said, I changed the scary parts. And that was before she told her the truth about her father's passing. In the end, when she got out the house after, having the gun, she told her daughter, I changed the scary parts.
When she gave her back the toy.
Yes. And to me, I think that was her basically, before she changed up the truth of the story so that she could avoid it, so that she could bury it and not have to deal with the full weight of the truth. Mm-hmm. I think that that's partially also what the woman in the yard represents, is the truth that she couldn't bear, like the heavy weight of the truth, mm-hmm. of everything, about the depression, about, the truth about her husband's passing.
She wanted an escape. So that does take me back to my question. Do you guys feel like, healing wise, is healing just like a one-time journey, or does it come in cycles, because you go through so much in your lifetime?
Because you are throughout your life, and I can speak from this from a very seasoned age, I won't say it, but you become different people throughout your whole life. You're never the same person. You would not be able to recognize the person that you were 10 years ago or 5 years ago, right? In high school, for example. Do you know that are you her still? Like, you're her, but you're not. It's like almost a different, like
a different variation.
Yeah, no, like a different plane of existence. Mm. Because you shifted, and that person is that person, and this person is this person. So because you experience things continuously, you may get in a relationship that may take you down, right? Like, out. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I can't handle this. I can't take it. You push through it. You move through it. You got this. You gone, right? 5 years later, you're like, you don't look at that person the same. You're like, I'm good. Oh, I remember when that was hard. I got through that, right? Then you have to go through something else, right? Yeah. You're always continuously growing. So it's a cycle. It's going to always be healing to do. It's mm-hmm. going to always be some type of shadow work. It's continuous. It's not like, I healed back in 2005 and I don't have any more problems again.
You're going to go through something else.
Like, you're going to have other, things that you have to go through and that you got to continuously go through. But just to say, and make a statement about the shadow part of her that showed up, that was ready to basically help her self-transition. And my apologies, you guys, this is probably going to be triggering. If it is, we do apologize, but this is something that I feel like, someone needs to hear. A lot of the times when you are trying to self-transition, you are not trying to unalive yourself. You're trying to unalive what it is you can't get past.
The pain
in you, whatever it is that keeps haunting you. So this lady literally showed up as that to help her do it, not to help her through it. That lady was like, I ain't got all day. Today's the day.
You either wonder,
right?
Or you don't, yeah.
So it's like, pay attention to voices that are not yours. Also, when you're in this state of mind, you are like a magnet for parasitic energy that will help you do it, right? That will push you forward. And when all you need is the healing to remove and eject whatever it is that you're going through.
Or somebody just talk you off that ledge.
Exactly. And to give you a different perspective so you can even process it better.
Yeah.
Because you're just not processing what you're going through in a way that's going to be healthy for you. And sometimes it just takes somebody to be able to do that. But in the meantime, there is entities on the other side of the veil. And she did have a veil. I'm just saying. There are entities on the other side of the veil. There are darker parts of yourself even that will show up and push you to that state and continue to talk to you in your ear and tell you the things that, you hear. I don't want to be too triggering, but it can be spiritual. It can be spiritual too.
And you really do, in that moment, have to, decipher, okay, is this you? Or you have to be strong enough to decipher and really fight against that. And honestly, when I first saw the movie, I was like, oh my God, it's a demon in the yard. She asked for, a demon showed up. First, now second round, I got the message, but the first time around, I was telling her during the movie, in my head, I'm just got it. I hope that she is strong enough to fight against this. Don't think about your kids and stuff. And then she saw her daughter's toy, and
she saw her daughter's toy,
and that's when I was like, oh, okay, she fought against it. She didn't kill herself. She stayed for her kids. She is still here. Good. But I didn't realize that she went to an alternative reality.
Yeah. Behind the veil, right? In that mirror, in a different reality where it wasn't her world.
Yeah.
And in the end, when the dog showed up, first of all, that was the first clue. What I don't like is it kind of paints a narrative that everything is going to be exactly what you want on the other side. If you do it, right? If you do something like that. You have the entities that show up and push you towards it. You have something in the ear. In your mind, you're thinking it's for people who don't have spiritual awareness. They don't understand that not even if you're trying to even self-transition, if you were just in the car driving and you have thoughts that are negative or that keep you angry and you just keep having these angry thoughts, that could be an entity with you. And you got to give yourself your best chance by removing all of that.
And you got to calm down.
So that you can have them, get them thoughts out of your head, because there's sometimes they're just not your thoughts. And that's the spiritual side of it.
That's why spiritual protection is so important too, because you always have something that is there to watch over you, guide you, so that if you do, deviate in any way, you have somebody or some spirit guide, ancestor, whomever on the other side to make sure that you're going to stay on your path. Because, I don't know if you guys notice anything, but I just felt like, in the movie, things just continue to escalate further and further and darker. And I just feel like when you do have spiritual protection, even when things are starting to get worse and it feels like they're getting worse, you might not see that you're still being watched over and still guided in a certain way. And sometimes that takes having a more open perspective and seeking help, seeking healing, so that you can realize that you actually are being protected. So because sometimes it can feel so dark that you think that it's just going to keep spiraling further and further, and then that's just what ends up happening when
Because that's what you're manifesting too.
Exactly. And so you keep your focus on that too. And then you don't realize that there could have been another way.
Mm-hmm. There always is.
There always is.
There always is. We just don't process it the way that we should sometimes.
Sometimes people can be too far gone in their thoughts to really.
Yeah.
But are they their thoughts? Is what I'm. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not always your thoughts.
But I'm saying that, like, even if it's not your thoughts, you can be too far gone in it, like, and so deep in your emotions by that point that entity or whatever is with you could have gotten you too far to the point where you're not seeing anything else. Or if a spirit has showed up to try to save you, you're just mentally gone at that point.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was a really great movie. There's a lot of spiritual aspects to it, and we are just breaking it down. I like everybody's perception of it, but I feel like it had a lot to do with her shadow self showing up at a time that it could win.
Okay, so I do have another question. So what if Woman in the Yard was scripted in a different way to where the woman in the yard was there to save her? Instead, do you think she would have received it the same way?
Save her. Interesting.
Because she was asking for the strength to, quote unquote, unalive herself.
Mm-hmm.
So what if that spirit or her deeper part of her subconscious that showed up was there to stop her from doing that instead? Do you think she would have received it the same way, or ran from it, or, like, you know, lied to herself about what she really wanted?
I don't think she would have tried to stop her if she represents her grief in the dark parts that she already avoided. I honestly feel like her separating herself from the woman in the yard is partly the reason why she didn't do it, is because she's not integrated with herself. So she took the dark parts of her and pushed it away so that she could at least function as long as she could.
Remove the scary parts.
Yeah, remove the scary parts. So I think it's more so when she integrated with the woman in the yard that it just made it even harder, because now all that darkness is within you and it's almost like you're experiencing it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And keep in mind, too, your shadow self wants to win, too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The darker parts of us, they want to win, too. I don't want to say dark, 'cause I don't like to say dark versus light, but the lower vibrational parts of us.
Yeah, you have an as above, so below.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They want to win. It wants to win, too. And that just showed up. And she was like, she took the gun, put it to her neck, like, I ain't got all day. Like, she wanted to
hurry this up.
Yeah,
Like,
she wanted to win too. So, you know, that just goes to show you that, like, it will keep going until it wins, until you stop it, until you face it, and she did not do that, unfortunately, in that movie.
It's unfortunate in that movie that she didn't, because sometimes darker entities can, I guess, like, save you in a way, or force you to be stronger, or
And
force
confront.
you to confront the things that you're running from.
That is true.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this movie she most likely did go through with what she was asking the strength to do.
Sometimes your protection would do that. Believe it or not, people don't realize that. But sometimes your protection will let something in, just nothing that's going to hurt you or nothing that's going to harm you, but just enough to push you or nudge you.
Make you stand up.
Yeah, to either make you stand up, to give you courage, to help you understand, okay, this is an entity, I sense it, okay, that's a different feeling, just so you can get to know it. If you could take the number one medium in the world, wherever, right? They know what low vibrational energy feels like, right? Any medium really knows what low vibrational energy feels like when it's around them. I know what it feels like. But how do I know what it feels like?
And you experience it.
I had to experience it first.
Yeah.
And sometimes your protection will put that in your path so you can recognize it. So you're like, here, you know, this is what this, you know, I want you to be aware of this when you're around it. And your protection can, do other things too. Like it can let you know that somebody put something on you so you could do something about it. It can let you know that there's an entity that is it's not always about shielding and nothing will ever touch you and you're just invincible. Because how would you learn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How will you learn? You're here to learn. You're here on purpose for a purpose, right? I say that all the time. You have things to learn and get through. And if you have a perfect life with no issues or any kind of trauma, or how will you ever learn to be strong? How will you ever learn to be resilient if you're not, in those situations?
Yeah.
And you're not challenged with it. So sometimes your protection will even do that for you.
Do you feel like sometimes people may be given second chances even at life? Like, I don't really know how to word that. I guess like when people try to escape life or like unalive themselves and stuff like that, do you feel like sometimes they're given second chances so they can actually stand up and be strong and face the things that they're supposed to face? Because I feel like sometimes their spirit guides or, whoever's over them may not allow them to escape their issues.
Here's the thing. Is it a second chance? Really? Or is it them proving a point to you and your spirit team proving a point to you and showing you and teaching you a lesson? Because if it was you to be out of here, you would be out of here. Is it a chance? Is it? Yeah, but is it a second? I don't really know if that's, I feel like sometimes people have to go through the darkest shit sometimes before they learn, before they get it. Some people have to bump their heads harder than others. And your spirit team is like, oh, you want to play? Okay. And, unfortunately, it's, I'm not saying that this is happening to everybody, obviously, but I do feel like some people just have to learn harder than others. And, they do get to come back if they got, in a car accident or something happened that was detrimental. And I'm not saying people who have been hurt, it was because you were messing up. But I'm just saying that sometimes maybe there's things that you need to realize and learn. And maybe that was the only avenue to do it. Like, for example, what's the movie, The Avengers, when Thanos, is it Thanos or Thanos? Whatever, Thanos, right? He was taking all the rings and the
Infinity Stones.
The Infinity Stones, sorry. Whatever. I think he was wearing one as a ring. I don't know. But Infinity Stones. And the sorcerer, the sorcerer.
Scarlet Witch?
No, the sorcerer. He has a show.
Doctor
Strange. Thank you. Dr. Strange, he was like meditating and he's like, he's on all this thing. That's like, what is he doing? And he said he went back and he checked like 3 million different possibilities of actions that they can take. And they all ended up heading to this point. There was no way out. It all ended up to this point. Remember?
Yeah.
Where it something inevitable had to happen.
And so you got to go through it.
You had to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what you do, maybe this is the only way.
That kind of sucks.
For you to learn, for you to understand, to plant a seed of something or whatever it is that Spirit is trying to show you or God is trying to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's all these different futures out there, but they all led to that one moment.
Yeah.
Protection or not. Your protection is there because you didn't, you didn't pass, right? Mm-hmm. You're fine, right? But, sometimes it's just a lesson, I feel like. Because you can, I don't want to say the word cheat death, but, in EFI you can. It shows you how you can move that around and not transition.
Speaking of cheating death, though, there was a show I watched. BMF just released a new season 4, and
I heard of that.
Yeah, and Terry, in the end of the show,
spoiler
sorry,
alert,
guys,
spoiler
alert. Sorry, you guys.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But in the end of season 4, episode 1, they used bone magic to save Meech's life. He was bitten by a black mamba snake, and he died. And the one of their
A
friends.
black mama?
Black Mamba.
Mamba. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Mama's good. Okay.
And the guy that they were with, he had a friend that used sacrificial magic on him, and he used the bones from the chicken on the snake bite. He crossed it on the snake bite and like did something with his hands, and he woke up. But then Terry, of course, was like calling it devil magic and saying that, you know, we're not supposed to be doing this. We're Christians. We're going to be punished for this. In the Bible, it says you need to fear God. And
So what was the alternative, Terry?
like,
The alternative is let him die?
in the end, Meech was like, you know, Terry, God's not mad at me. He's mad about me. Like, and okay, so that saying I kind of want to get into because I don't fully understand that. Like, what do you mean by that?
What do you think, Kayla?
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like we had different perspectives on what that meant. I think when he said God is mad about me, I think he was saying that he is divinely favored. So even if he had to be brought back to life through whatever other means, untraditional means, it doesn't mean that it's meant to be demonic or against God. I think he's saying that he's so favored by God that he'll come back even from the most unconditional means.
So you think it was favor?
Yeah,
Or
I think
maybe
it was
he-
him. Yeah, I think it was him saying that he's favored.
Maybe he was saying like God is mad about me because I didn't play by his rules. I beat death. I'm supposed to be with him right now, but instead I'm back. I came back.
But see, again, if you were supposed to be there, you would be there. I just believe that. Like, I don't believe in cuffs. I'm on the cuff of a certain sign. No, you're not. That sign transitioned at a certain time. If you made it, you made it. If you didn't, you're the other sign. Like, it's just, to me, like, if you were there, if you were supposed to be there, you would be there. If you were supposed to be here, you were going to be here. That something intervened. You know, whatever spirit it is. Does it say what spirit, or did he just, was it just root work or some hoodoo? Like,
No, he brought a chicken.
sacrificial.
Yeah, it was a chicken. He broke the chicken's neck and he cut the chicken open.
Okay.
And took the bones out and put it on his leg, but then took the blood of the chicken and he had this plate with writing on it. And he was just smearing it around, speaking in tongues and stuff. But
Was it in tongues or
it was either
I thought he
tongues
was
or a
speaking-
different language.
Well, I know he was speaking, I think, Spanish, but I don't know what he was speaking when he was doing it.
It was either tongues or it was
he
Spanish.
was, he was probably given an incantation. So the blood was a sacrifice to probably an entity or deity.
And they used Terry's watch as payment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was to payment to the guy or payment.
Payment to the guy.
Okay.
He said, we need this as payment.
To the guy,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But it was probably a sacrifice to an entity.
Probably. Yeah, the blood on the plate. Okay, so why do you guys feel like in the show, though, even though the bone magic and the work was done in front of Terry, he still denied it and gave all glory to God, even though you just seen what happened?
Conditioning, you know, and I just feel like sometimes people is cognitive dissonance sometimes, where you can literally see that and maybe he didn't know what he was looking at, right? But you can see that something else is present here, where he just got bit by a black mamba and he just walked up and walked away. And he didn't pray for that.
After that, once all that happened and all that, him and Terry fell out, but Meech was doing his big one. Everything was going well for Meech. He was getting all the things that he needed. It was Terry's stuff that was falling apart.
Interesting.
But this whole time, you're denying what you've seen all out of fear.
And maybe it could have been a timeline shift for him too, like coming back from, basically being dead. Like maybe that could have really shifted things for him too.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
his whole entire timeline is now changed.
Where he has this new perception of life, like people, like you said, second chances, right? Where he's like,
Can't take this for granted.
I'm gonna go hard now for real, like, cause I just almost checked out.
Yeah.
Like it could have, but see, again, maybe that had to happen so something can happen.
And you can hear,
You know?
you can probably tell too with the confidence that he had when he said that. He said, God is not mad at me. God's mad about me.
That's Will wrote that. That's deep. That's seriously.
Well, God ain't mad at me or about me.
So, how do you guys, or what would you guys say to somebody who is like, you know, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Stalling themselves by fear, like, or because they're leading by fear, or conditioning, as some would call it. And, you know, you're not hitting your greatest potential because you're afraid.
I think that just goes to educating yourself, because a lot of people don't know it's because of fear. They're not even aware of it.
My thing is, or at least my perspective is, you still got to lead with your heart. And I personally think that that is what God guides people with, is through their heart and their heart's desire. And I feel like that's why people end up in situations where people you feel really close and connected to, but your mind is conditioned to believe certain things about certain individuals, and you go with your mind that's just full of fear when your heart is telling you something different. And I feel like in general, when it comes to anything that you want to do and fear is getting in the way, it's your mind trying to stop you from doing something that your heart desires.
So is that even, so what about even if your calling is something that God doesn't agree with?
But why do people think that God doesn't agree with it? I saw a post that somebody posted recently, and it said, do what makes you happy, but it was scratched out. And it said, do what
makes God happy, or something like that.
Yeah, or do what's in God's will, or something. It was something on the lines of that. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, well, I feel like God's will is aligned with what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. I don't think that God would have something, or, you know, create people to do things that make them happy that's against the will for those, or for that individual, and against their purpose. I think your purpose is supposed to be something that makes you happy and full and fulfilled inside, because that is, we all know that positive energy and loving energy is contagious. It's something that spreads to other people. So why wouldn't something that makes you happy be aligned with God's will? If God's plan for you is more than likely aligned with God's plan for a whole bunch of other people. Like, we're not just here to be here. We're here to influence. We're here to help others as well.
We're here to learn.
Yeah.
We're here to learn.
Your purpose is aligned with the purpose of many other people. So why wouldn't something that makes you happy be aligned with that?
And I know y'all gonna eat me up for this, but God's will is your will. I believe in my willpower. I believe in, the power of my will, and the whole, well, if it's God's will, it'll happen. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in somebody in the sky saying, oh, your number's up. Come on. It's God's will. You got to go.
You got to make it happen.
I don't believe in that. I believe that you have your own will, and you make your own decisions, and you have your own higher self and your own spiritual team and your own ancestors that are behind you and pushing you into a direction that is supposed to be for you. You just got to pay attention to it and do the right thing. But I feel like our will is God's will. You know what I mean?
I agree. I feel like, and that kind of goes into another, perception on who God is. And I believe that God is us. God is within us, and we are all extensions of God. Mm-hmm. That's mentioned even in the Bible too. So, but I think that's more of an internal spiritual aspect, not like, I'm God, worship me. Like, I don't think it's meant to be that
right
external, because many people, or plenty of people, do that, and it comes off as egotistical. And I don't think it's meant to be that way. I think it's more so that God, the creator of the universe, manifested itself in infinite forms, and some of those forms are us. Mm-hmm. And so when we are connecting with ourself and our will, that will within us is connected to God already.
To the energy of God.
So that's why I say, when you're doing something that makes you happy and that's fulfilling for you, you are following God's will for you, because you're a part of God.
and you're radiating that energy.
Yeah.
I do agree, which also helps the collective.
Mm-hmm. So it's so important to find yourself and know who you are too, because that's also how you know what your will is. So you know what God's will is, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys feel like with knowing that, knowing who you are and what you're here to do, and even having your own perception of who God is, and like all those things combined, do you guys feel like in total that has helped you guys even walk in your truth during this whole spiritual journey? Even starting with mom, like, you know, has that helped you be able to, I guess, walk in your truth?
For me, yeah.
Definitely.
Because I pay attention too. I know that we have obviously a higher energy that we're all connected to, right? Mm-hmm. That's breathing life into us, our ether cells, the energy in us, the fifth element, right? But what helps me is facts, proof, results, right? I have a whole practice. So if there's something that I am questioning or I may do and it works and it starts to work for thousands of other people, that's what I believe. That's what I believe. You know, people, Lala made me a millionaire. You know, Lala helped my family. You know, I was living out of my car, and when I found Lala, and you know, that's what matters. God is in all of that. So while people are like, oh, they just want to be this or they want to be glammed up. Yeah, we love glam, but that's what we love. So I'm not going to stop loving what I love because you don't think I should have it because of what I do. But they don't see all of the rest of that.
Yeah.
The people that, you know, my work has even helped with people who are suffering with the thoughts and the pressure of self-transitioning. The people who, you know, were homeless or, you know, couldn't find a job or worked out their marriage or finally got pregnant. Mm-hmm. You know, like those type of things matter. That is God. So yes, it has helped me because I see God in all of that. You know what I mean? And it continues to help me push forward in the things that I do, even in the days where it gets hard and I'm tired. To hear people say and feel like, you know, this has helped me and see the results, that's to me is as close as it can get to it. Is seeing it in other people that you've been able to help.
I think with my interpretation of God, especially being within you, I think that has definitely helped me walk into my truth because I've learned that from my own relationship with myself. Mm-hmm. And how to take care of myself and my self-respect and my boundaries and my self-love too. I felt like that unlocked something within me that made me realize that if God is within you, then to honor yourself is to honor God then.
Love it.
So that's why I try to, you know, treat myself highly and think highly of myself. And even just this whole idea of like putting other gods before you, if you know that God is within you, so then the idea should be more so about not putting other people before you and other things and concepts before you, because when you idolize anything other than yourself, then you are, quote unquote, idolizing another God, because your focus should be on, you know, who you are as a person and what is true to you.
I love it. Because
when you do pedestalize other people, it puts you in an inferior position.
It does.
And it makes you seem less worthy when that's not the truth. And so to live in the truth is to know that you are worthy, to know that you are whole, and to know that you are valuable. So you shouldn't pedestalize anything or, you know, put anything below you, because then that would indicate that they're worthless, and that's not true either. So it's like to live in divine truth is to know that you are special, you are whole, you are valuable, and you are, you know, love. I do think that God is like the essence of true love. Mm-hmm. And love kind of goes into all of that. So I think to really love and respect yourself and honor yourself really is to honor the God within you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. This is how you treat yourself too.
Yeah. And that plays a role ultimately in how you treat others, because then you can come from a point of understanding and compassion and empathy, because that's how you treat yourself.
And how others will treat you too.
Exactly. And that's another thing I learned, is that reflection of what's happening within you being reflected externally in how you treat others. It's like, if you're judgmental to this person, or you're mean and bitter to this person, what do you think that says about you? How do you realistically talk to yourself or talk about yourself? How do you treat yourself?
How do you take care of yourself?
And take care of yourself if you feel the need to treat somebody that way? You can't possibly think and like truly think with true love towards yourself and kind to yourself and exert hate towards other people. You know?
I agree.
It is a reflection of what's in you. And so I think that when you do treat yourself better and truly treat yourself better and, you know, talk highly of yourself, then I think that that can be reflected in your life too. And that's what ultimately makes you a better person to others. And I think that for me, and even including in the Bible, I think that that's what it really means to love thy neighbor, is to really love yourself so that you don't feel the need to judge or put hatred on another person, because you can understand them because you understand yourself.
Michaela. And that just to clear that up too, it's not just about speaking highly of yourself and that's it. Like, oh, I speak highly of myself all the time, but
it's deeper.
Yeah, it's deeper.
It's deep.
How do you feel about yourself? How do you treat yourself? How do you love yourself?
Yeah.
You know, all of that matters. What about you, Eria? Do you think that has made a difference or impact?
I agree. It has. I feel like I went through a journey of finding myself. And even before the spiritual journey, I feel like, I think it started maybe in middle school is when I started to find myself and understand. First of all, I'm a lot like my mom. My heart, I'm sweet, like I'm caring, like I care about other people, and I have a big heart. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I went through a mean girl phase. I went through a fighting phase. I went through a bullying phase. Like, I went through a lot to finally find this version of myself. And I feel like you attract who you are. Like, what is the saying you used to say, Mom? Birds of a feather
flock together.
Yeah. So you're likely going to attract, either if it's not, I feel like you attract how you treat yourself.
Like, or it's like attracts like.
Yeah.
Because birds of a feather flock together is more about you are the company you keep.
Well, actually, you know what? I don't know about that, because I'm really positive. You know, I do love myself, but I attract people who need a lot of healing. People who...
So like may still attract like.
It's deeper than that. That's why
exactly.
What you were saying about, it's not just about talking highly of yourself. No, it's deeper. It's the things that you're avoiding within yourself. That's also being reflected in your relationships too. So while you're wondering why I keep attracting this kind of person, I'm like this and they're like that. No, it's deeper than that. There's something within you that
needs healing.
Yes, that is attracting this kind of individual. So while you're attracting people who need healing, are you somebody that carries a savior complex? Are you somebody that feels like you need to be needed? Because that can also attract people who are constantly
takers.
Yeah, and constantly in need.
Yeah, because if you, again, something Mom said, if you're just this beam of light in a dark place, they flock to you. So,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like in a sense, that's kind of what I am. I can't really help it. I don't know how to turn it off.
You have a way to, I mean, it's all a journey, honey. You're going to be learning how to turn these things off and learn more and learn how to all those things. You're going to learn as you go. The thing is, and like you said, is this a one-time thing? You just answered your question. It's continuous.
Yeah, because I feel like you're always going to go through something. Like always, there's going to be always something happening. There's never one person in this world that'll go through one thing in their life, heal from it, and never go through anything else because you're just so perfect.
Because it doesn't work. We're not here to be perfect.
Yeah.
We're not. Nobody here is perfect. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to learn and grow, and you can't do that through perfection. I'm a Virgo moon. Trust me, if that's coming from like a Virgo energy, so trust me, there isn't a such thing as perfection. But like Kayla said, if you still have deeper parts of you that are attracting things that you don't understand, why are you attracting this? Because you don't see it on the surface, but it's not on the surface. It's the what part of yourself?
The lower part of yourself.
That shows itself as the what self? the shadow self, right? So how do you talk to that person? How do you get that and pull that out? But through shadow work. And that's how you find it. And you're like, oh, I didn't even know I was still mad about that. Until you go back and you talk to that inner self, you know? And you're like, dang, I didn't even know I was even still mad. Like,
because you got over it instead of through it.
Exactly. And then when it comes up again, you're all of a sudden you're mad again, and it's like, yo, this is making me way too mad for something that happened like 5 years ago, right? Because it's a trigger. So sometimes you don't even know until it comes up, but you'll find it if you keep, going back. So to wrap it up, you guys, we want to give you guys some advice, right? So how do you know that you need to work on some things that, if you're the type of person that's always attracting negative energy or the wrong people, how do you know that this is something that has something to do with some deeper rooted issues? How do you know you need to do shadow work? How do you know that it's an entity speaking in your ear and not you? What is some advice that you guys would give someone, or some ways that they can tell the difference? And this is coming from a brand new perspective. We have a lot of followers that are in the game for years and understand what we're doing and what we're saying, but there's some new people. There's a lot of new people out there that aren't. And we want to talk to you right now if you have questions on how to determine what this energy is. If you have negative energy around you, if you have darker thoughts, like how would you tell them to?
I would say think about who you are. Like, are you this kind of person? Do you have these kind of thoughts? Are you this angry person? Like, do you really want to do this? Like, do you love your life? Like, where are you right now mentally in your life? Like, there's a whole lot of things that you have to fight to evaluate, fight against the voices, fight against the feeling in your heart and the sadness and the whatever you may be feeling in the moment. Think about yourself and think about how much you love yourself. And is this who you are? Is this the path you want to go? Or do you still have more life to live? Do you still have more elevating to do and more growing to do? And are you going to grow from this?
Right.
And just get stronger?
I think, I agree with that in regards to the self-love aspect. I think that we're all on a journey of self-love and remembering the wholeness that's already within us. So, it's very easy to play out this scenario in which you're not whole, you're not valuable or worthy. And so that can play out in people's relationships in certain circumstances. So sometimes you just have to ask yourself, if I was someone who was whole, if I was someone who knew that I was worthy and knew that I was very valuable, would I still be friends with this person? Would I believe this thought that I have in my head? Like, really interrogate the thoughts that are coming to mind and ask yourself from a worthy perspective, from somebody who knew that they were whole and loving of themselves, is this a thought that you would have? The person and the version of me that knew that they were whole and healthy and happy and loving, would I have these thoughts? Is this something that I would really entertain? And I feel like that's a great way to know whether something is starting to weigh on you. And also when you can tell, hey, the energy is shifted, maybe this person is talking differently towards you, or even somebody new that came into your life that you're still trying to discern whether this person is ideal for you. I think that that's a good way too for you to know how this person and even the thoughts that come to mind are if they are aligned with the highest version of you, basically.
Okay. So that is it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us on the Conjure Confessions, and we'll see you again next time.
People are expecting us to say like, oh, you do this and you do that.
You have a mentality that's also carried down from generation to generation to generation.
It's a different version of you. And that version of you is doing something that you're not doing.
Be in that vibration of luxury every day.
It's about alignment.
Doing candle work and you never see the results.
He came back, but we got into an argument. And
Man, this shit don't work.
doubt starts setting in.
Everybody has prayed for something that did not happen. If you don't doubt your prayers, don't doubt yourself.
You need to actually take actions to become that person.
And they all have the same mentality. That is a generational curse.
Like,
Not literally. You got something better.
you're not pretending to be that version that you want to be. You are literally becoming them.
I ain't scared of nothing right now. But somebody has something on their fucking back.
And that energy is now on you. Now you're sad. Now you go home with that energy.